Welcome to today's episode in our series on parts of self. Last week we discussed the kid part, and today we're tackling our responsible part. In this episode, we talk about the basics of burdened and unburdened responsible parts, how responsible and kid parts tend to interact, how mismatches between responsible and kid parts tend to create or contribute to conflict in relationships, how critical parts tag team and take over for responsible parts when they get too frustrated or overwhelmed, and how socialization in our upbringing really influences our responsible and kid parts. So, with that being said, this way into your responsible part.
Yay.
Alrighty. So last time we talked about kid parts, and we really dove into what kid parts are like more deeply. So just a quick review: unburdened kid parts are the parts of us that just want to have fun and play and be ourselves. Likes to learn, likes to laugh, likes to explore. All the things we really want to do comes from our unburdened kid parts. Our burdened kid parts are the ones that hang on to negative cognitions like I'm not good enough, nobody loves me, that kind of stuff. Insecure, really shy, like doesn't want to be in front of people for fear of being made fun of, so on and so forth. So burdened kid parts are the parts of us that kind of hold us back, especially when we're feeling afraid or anxious or like, oh, I don't want to be made fun of kind of thing. With our kid parts, that's where we decide I want to have fun. I don't want responsibility. And that can be an issue with our responsible parts.
Mm-hmm.
So our responsible parts do want to be busy with stuff, accomplishments, doing things, checking the stuff off the list. And when we can get these things accomplished, our responsible parts feel great. That's where our responsible parts feel like, I'm good enough. I'm competent. I'm an adult. And that feels very opposite of our kid parts a lot of the time, especially our burdened kid parts. Like, I don't feel like an adult at all. I'm like a scared little kid. I'm back in the fifth grade in this situation. And even though we're adults, it still feels like being a kid because that's the kid part. But again, very opposite with our responsible parts. Our responsible parts feel like adults. And we feel like adults when our responsible parts are in the driver's seat.
Sure.
So, like right now, we're doing this podcast. We're being responsible about this. If we were just, fucking off, whatever, that'd be our kid parts. But we're actually, sitting down recording. We're talking about this topic at hand. So, again, that's our responsible part.
Mm-hmm.
These are our unburdened responsible parts, though. When our responsible parts get burdened, it's not like we feel sad, scared, whatever. These responsible parts are just like, I am frustrated. I can't do this. Fuck it. I'm done. And then our critical parts come in. I'll save that for another episode. But when our responsible parts just say, screw it, I'm out, that's when things tend to go sideways sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. So my husband works on cars, and when things don't go the way he expects them to go, he gets super frustrated. Well, his responsible part's like, well, I'm trying to do this job, and his logical part's over here like, I can't figure this out. And so his critical part is like, ah.
Mm-hmm.
If his responsible part does not get back in control and like, let's calm down here, let's figure this out, logical doesn't get in there too, then critical takes over and he starts throwing stuff. And that's not good. It's like, you're trying to fix the car, now you're breaking shit. Thanks.
Yep. I've done that myself. I used to get that with cooking.
Oh,
when something
wow.
didn't right. Then I'd start throwing things.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Not where anybody could get hurt or I could break anything, but it felt good to throw it because I was mad.
Exactly. Yeah. There's your fight response coming out there. And
Sure.
that's a good point. Anytime our stress response turns on, our responsible parts as well as logical parts have a really hard time staying online, staying in the driver's seat. Because anytime our stress response intensity increases, our prefrontal cortex, which is our highest human thinking skills, come from. And that's where logical and responsible parts tend to live. So the stress response essentially zaps the energy from that part of your brain, that prefrontal cortex, goes to the limbic system, which is where fight, flight, freeze lives. And so that's what really makes logical and responsible go offline. It's just the higher stress response intensity, the less these unburdened parts are able to operate. And that's why critical comes in. Critical's tapped into the stress response. So it's easy to tag team that part in. So again, we want to stay calm enough to stay responsible, to keep our responsible part online and operating with us. So I'm curious, Amy, other than cooking, have you had any other examples of where you're like trying to get stuff done and it just wasn't going right?
Yes. As you know, I edit podcasts and I use a software that I love it and I hate it. I love it because it does all the things I need it to do, but I hate it because it doesn't always do them because it's always on the fritz. So it's I won't get into it too much, but it's a it's a software that they're still working on it. They're still making it basically. And so there's an update like every 2 hours. Restart because there's a new update and then you update it and then shit doesn't work. And then it's also really slow sometimes. And so then I get really frustrated and I scream the name of the software, which I won't do right now, but I'm like, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. And and the dogs are like, what's going on? Because they sit with me while I'm working. So they get up and they're like, I'm going to go out there now. I get really mad and I'll scream. And then it makes me more angry when I get back into, I'm actually editing and I see that like I cleared my throat 3 times in the last 5 minutes and I have to edit all that out. And so then I get mad at myself or I get mad at whoever is making the weird noise or the weird thing or doing. So then I'm like, then that's my critical, I assume. Coming in there. So it can be a big spiral. I can see how all of that happens when I'm doing that.
Man, that sounds
But
super
when everything's
frustrating.
working, it's perfect. And it feels great.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
And I'm like, look, I got this whole thing done in only an hour, you know?
Yeah. So you absolutely know the way it feels so different between your responsible part accomplishing things versus not.
Yeah.
Huge difference. And I feel like this sort of difference is tangible for everybody because we all have these experiences of I successfully completed this and that was fucking great. And I just can't get this done or I can't get it done right. It's just, man, such opposite feelings.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a different opposite feeling as responsible and kid parts too, though, because kid parts just want to have fun and they're just, screwing around, whatever. Is responsible part being really frustrated with that. So there's actually a theme here. Responsible parts tend to get pretty frustrated a lot of the time when things aren't going the way they want them to. They're very similar to critical parts in that regard. Responsible and critical parts often work hand in hand in so many different ways. I'm going to save that for another episode when we get into critical. So I'm going to focus more on how responsible and kid parts interact more. So I'm thinking of times where it's fun to accomplish things. For example, our neighbors have apple trees and my husband, he's the one picking all the apples and it's a lot of work, but he has fun doing it. And he's like, oh, it feels so good. Look at all these apples. We have like hundreds of pounds of apples in our basement every time we go there. And it smells so good every time we open the door and we're down there. Look, it smells like a Yankee Candle down here. It's just apples. So it's fun to do responsible things sometimes. I don't know, like crosswords, Sudoku, that kind of stuff. It's not necessarily like fun, but it's fun to do because I'm getting stuff organized. Responsible parts love to organize things. So I like to play that kind of stuff. Solitaire, just things I'm organizing. It feels good to have things just in a spot.
Yeah.
And then there are times it's not so fun to be responsible. Like I really don't want to be doing this and I have to do this. And it sucks.
Like cleaning the litter box?
Oh, God. Yeah. Every day, maybe even twice a day. 4 cats, it's a lot of excrement. A lot.
Yeah.
I mean, our cats are all pretty old, so it's good. They're peeing and pooping. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
We want that, but it's a lot.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to deal with this.
Yeah.
Not fun. It feels good to have it done and responsible for it's like, yay, we're all happy now for 2 hours until it's back to the way it was.
Yep.
Yeah. The times our responsible parts don't want to be responsible, though, that's tough because usually like we have so much on our plate and we add something else to the plate. It's like, oh, it's just one more thing I have to do. Responsible part. And the kid part's over here like, I just want to have fun. And so,
I was just going to say I've actually been struggling with that for the last week because I'm going on an overseas trip on Thursday.
Yeah.
And I keep remembering things that I have to do. So I put them in a list in my phone like we've talked about before. And then when I get up in the morning, I look at the list and I'm like, oh my God, I already have 500 things I'm supposed to do today. Where am I going to fit these in?
Right.
And then it goes off on my phone. It goes off and says, don't forget to do the newsletter for next week. And then I go, well, that's not happening today because there's 50 other things that are more important. So I put it on for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow I go, well, all this shit I was supposed to get done yesterday now I have to do it today, but I already had a whole bunch of shit I was supposed to do today.
That's right.
And things just keep piling. And then Greg will say, did you remember to do the da-da-da? And I'm like, I can't.
Yeah. And there's your kid part. Burdened kid part.
Yeah. And then I go, I just want to watch TV.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all have that too. I know there are probably times in your life I've done this too. I've called in sick to work because I just can't fucking do this today. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes taking a mental health day just means letting your kid part have fun.
Yeah.
We don't have enough of that. We don't have enough time for that. And if we look at schools these days, like kids don't even barely get recess anymore.
I know.
And they're kids. Let them have fun. Let them play.
I know, especially when they're little, they're supposed to be able to do that and be active and creative and play acting and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is so important for our brains to play. Play. Our unburdened kid parts, when they get to come out and play, it really does help shut off the stress response. It helps to calm all of that stuff. Even if we have stress response running in the background, like most of us normally do, it helps to just kind of relax, unwind, just take a breather. When we're having fun, it's a lot easier to connect. It's a lot easier to have relationships. It's a lot easier to find commonalities.
Yeah.
Which is another thing we're sorely lacking these days, I think. There's too many examples of what we're different about. And, oh, I don't like that. And, oh, that's wrong. And that's bad. And that's our critical parts. So if we operate more from our unburdened kid parts, we're a lot more able to say, hey, you look fun. Want to play? Without any preconceived notion, without thinking what your politics are, without thinking about, well, I don't know if I can trust you. I mean, so on and so forth. Our kid parts are the ones that really help us form and keep relationships. If our kid parts aren't allowed to be authentic within these relationships, then we ourselves aren't authentic within these relationships, and they're not as healthy as they could be.
Sure.
I'm sure I could throw several examples from my life, but I'm curious, anyone from your past that you're thinking of that you could not authentically be yourself with and it didn't go well?
I can't think of anything where I wasn't myself, but I can think of a relationship where I wasn't allowed to do much of anything because that person was constantly being the star and talking all the time and needing all the attention. So I just sat there like a mouse.
Yeah.
So I guess that is where I wasn't able to be, because I wasn't able to be anything.
Yeah, right.
I wasn't masking as something else. I just sat there and watched them do everything.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a good example. It's not like you had to, like you said, you didn't have to mask yourself, but if you weren't even allowed to be yourself, period, how are you supposed to have a healthy, authentic relationship there?
Right.
What happened with that? I'm just curious.
I finally said, this isn't fun anymore. It's not fun being your friend anymore. It didn't go well because the person's a narcissist, but we're not friends anymore, and it's okay.
Yep. Exactly.
It was a painful conversation, but it had to happen.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. And that's a really good example because there are so many times where other people, their critical parts, don't want us to be us for some reason. Usually it's a very selfish reason on their end, but maybe they have really bad trauma. Maybe they're really insecure. We don't know. All I can say is if someone's not allowing you to be authentically you, it's not a healthy relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there are lots of examples of people growing up with their parents where their parents are like, no, you can't have long hair and you have to be like this and so on and so forth. And that always was a disruption in that relationship because bringing your critical parts into this doesn't help.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a parent and you don't like the direction your kids are taking or the choices they're making, being critical of them is not going to help.
Right.
So put on your responsible hat, put on your kid hat, put these parts of self more in the forefront. That's going to help you a lot more than just being like, well, you can't do this and you should do this. No, it's just going to drive the kid more into what they're already doing.
Right.
So if you bring your kid part in, that's where our curiosity really comes from. So being curious really helps form relationships. Like, okay, you have long hair. I'm just curious. What is it about it that you like? What's going on socially that's driving this? Do your friends have long hair too? I mean, and don't be like, well, if all your friends jumped off a mountain, would you do it too?
Oh my God, my mother said that to me all the time.
Right?
All the time.
Yeah.
Well, if she jumped off a cliff, would you do it too?
Mm-hmm.
Like, probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a lemming. That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You always met that with your critical part, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Uh-huh. Exactly. It's not conducive for building relationships.
Yeah.
So curiosity, bring your kid part into it. Just be curious. Ask open-ended questions. You can ask some yes/no questions. That's fine. But mostly open-ended questions like, well, when did you first start being interested in long hair? Have you thought about any other hairstyles maybe in the future?
Mm-hmm.
I could go on, but just open-ended questions. Who, what, where, when, why, how. Journalistic questions. If you're a journalist, you're asking these questions.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing about being responsible in this is you're not just saying, well, it's fine. You're investigating. You're being a journalist here. What is actually going on so I can get to the facts of this? Our logical parts love the facts, of course. And it's a responsible part that's actually doing the fact finding by asking these open-ended questions. So in any of these situations, it doesn't matter if you're a parent to a kid. You can be you and your best friend, you and your spouse, you and your dog. I don't care. If you bring your critical part into it, it's not going to be conducive for an authentic relationship. So bring your kid part into it. Bring your responsible part into it. So another issue that I've definitely seen over and over again, and this is a stereotypical thing, but it's common. When I have couples, there is usually a mismatch between one of the people in the couple being too skewed to kid part and the other one too skewed to responsible part.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, usually, stereotypically, it's the women being more responsible and the men being more kid.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how we're socialized in this country.
Yeah.
And Amy, I know you're a generation before me, so it was probably even worse for you growing up. But the gender roles that we prescribe and ascribe and model and all of these things, that's what really kind of fuels this mismatch between responsible and kid parts and men and women.
Yeah.
So like back in the 50s, leave it to Beaver kind of stuff. Well, the men had to go to work while the women stayed home. Well, I can't imagine how many of the men were resentful. Like, well, I have to have a full-time job and be the breadwinner. And the women are resentful too. Cause like I'm stuck in this house doing all this shit I don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. But as soon as the guy comes home, it's like, well, the wife's not done. Now she's got to put a footstool under him and make a supper and all of these things. Of course, I'm stereotyping from the 50s,
Right.
so on and so forth. And so the dude gets to clock out and he just gets to sit back and relax and his kid part gets to come out and play. Well, I get to watch what I want to watch and I get to drink a beer. And this weekend I'm going hunting with the boys and all of this stuff, This is how we're socialized.
Yeah.
Deeper than this, than these stereotypical things, there's what we call emotional labor. And there's two definitions of emotional labor. So the first one, the mental activity required to manage or perform the routine tasks necessary for maintaining relationships and ensuring smooth running of a household or process, typically regarded as an unappreciated or unacknowledged burden borne disproportionately by women. So that's the first definition. I'm going to get to the second one really quick. So basically, this means emotional labor is all of the planning that you have to do of running a household. So like, the PTA conference is this Thursday, and we got a dance recital this weekend, and so on and so forth. It's usually the woman who's keeping all of these things in mind and planning for, how do I get them here? How do I get them there? How am I in 3 places at once? And the dude's just like, oh, well, when's the recital? Well, it's blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, you just remind me. Yeah. Right? Do you hear the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's responsible part. Again, this is stereotyping. This is not how it always is for everybody, but stereotypically, the dude just gets to sit back where the woman is taking care of everything.
Right.
So the other definition of emotional labor is the management of one's emotions in order to present oneself and interact with other people in a certain way while doing a job. So emotional labor is also self-control, managing yourself, knowing what's going on within you, like parts of self, your stress response, what emotions you're feeling, and managing that so it doesn't interfere with relationships, whether it's professional or personal or whatever. And I know for a fact in my own relationship, I'm a therapist, of course. I have all of the tools and knowledge and blah, blah, blah that most people don't. So I've been married for over 10 years. And of course, in the 10 years time, we've been together longer than that. But in that span of time, of course, conflict comes up, differences of opinion come up, so on and so forth. We both have our own mental health struggles at times. Who doesn't? And so when one of us is in a dark hole, it really is not helpful for the other person. So like, I don't know if you've ever been like really depressed, but the clinical symptoms of depression, it's like you can check them off a list, and I know what that sounds like, but feeling it, experiencing it is quite something else. That shutdown response literally will get your body to not move. You're playing dead. When mice play dead because there's a cat on them, they're not moving. The cat might bat them around, they're still not moving. And that's how it is for us. When we're really depressed, our bodies barely function. It's hard to get out of bed. It's hard to even move. If we are moving, we're moving slower. It's like walking through molasses. And so we've each had moments of, being in a dark hole, whatever. And it's just hard to take care of everything when the other person is just not functioning.
Right.
So the responsible part in the person that's still functioning is overfunctioning to just maintain the relationship, to maintain the household. And that's an extreme example of this, but it's really tough.
Yeah.
In day-to-day life, it's tough as it is. And when one person is the responsible one with emotional labor, like, the meal planning, the grocery shopping, getting kids here, there, everywhere, that takes a toll. And oftentimes, this is not all the time, when the person who's normally responsible, usually the woman, is in a dark hole and the dude notices, again, I'm stereotyping. This is not how it is for everybody. The dude is like, well, why can't you just pull yourself up out of bed? Why can't you do this? You were doing this before. Why do I have to do this? So they're like balking at the responsibility.
Sure.
It's their critical parts. It's like, well, why do I have to do this? This is your job. Well, take a look at your responsible part. Look at what's not happening here. Look at what's happening for her, or, the person who's in a dark hole, and have some empathy. Empathy comes from our nurturing part. Our kid parts have empathy too. So bring your kid part into this. So what I'm really trying to say is we need a balance between these parts of self. And when there's no balance within ourselves, it's really hard to have balance externally with our relationships. So if we don't have balance within ourselves, it's that much harder to even see it on the outside. And that's why I like doing parts work. That's why I like talking to people about parts of self, because it is a tool that we can all use. We all have parts of self. If we just take the time to look inward and see what's going on with our parts of self, that's going to be a huge benefit to everyone in your life, yourself included.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So I was talking a lot. I'm curious if you have any examples of mismatches between responsible and kid parts for any other example, I guess.
I think my parents were both kids, but my dad the kid was driving almost all the time.
Yeah.
He had a job. He went to a job,
Mm-hmm.
but he was an actor and he, was creative and all that.
Yeah.
My mom too was dance teacher and actor and I would say singer, but she wasn't very good. And neither of them really could sing. But oh no, sorry, my dad could sing. My dad couldn't dance. That's what it is.
Oh.
Anyway, I mean, he could. It was funny. It just wasn't good. But so I feel like when I was little, nobody was running the show because they were both kid. My mom, the only other part that I can think of that was strong with her was critical. So there was enough responsibility to get the bills paid and get, I was going to say put food on the table, but that happens sometimes. Usually it was somebody else doing that. She had my grandma doing that.
Oh, got it.
Watching me.
Yeah.
But I think it was like they both had these things they wanted to do and they wanted to do them. And they were not the same thing.
Yeah.
And so there was always, you go do your thing, you go do your thing. And then I was sitting at home with grandma.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if that's what you mean by that, but
I do. Yeah.
I don't know that there was a whole lot of responsible driving in any of us, me included.
Well, you were a kid, so that's understandable.
Yeah. But like, it was my job to take care of the cat or the dog or whatever. And I didn't do it. I mean, I paid attention to the animal, but I didn't clean the litter box.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I think that it was one of those things where I was, and I didn't realize it until you and I started talking about this and we were doing a little research for the podcast. And I was like, oh my God, I was raised by kids.
Yeah.
Burdened and unburdened.
Yeah.
And there was nary a responsible one. And maybe some critical. Nurturing was there, but
Yes.
But yeah, it was a lot of kids raising kids, even though they weren't that young.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. And that is a good example of a mismatch because we want our parents to be responsible enough, at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with assigning you chores when you're a kid because that helps build that responsible part. We want that.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just throwing it out there since this is a socialization thing. Make sure you treat your boys and girls the same in this regard. Develop their responsible parts in the same way. Make sure the boys do the emotional labor too. Make sure that the girls can go play as well. Let them clock out at times. So what I'm saying is we don't want this divide.
Right.
Because this divide oftentimes can lead to the breakup of relationships, divorce, so on and so forth. And on the flip side, if someone is a workaholic, that's the responsible part, being way too responsible all the time. That's a whole nother issue in and of itself. And if someone's constantly working and not at home with the wife and kids or husband and kids or whatever, then it's like, is this even a relationship anymore? So again, there has to be balance between these parts of self. We want our kids to play, but we want our responsible parts to be responsible. So with all of this being said, a big piece of the responsible versus kid puzzle is when we're actually gathering to socialize, whether it's a family gathering or a friends get together or whatever. The socializing aspect also really boils down to our kid and responsible parts too, and critical and the rest, of course. But if we're in a big group of people and our burdened kid parts are like, I don't feel really good in a good big group of people. Maybe you're just going to go find the cat and dip out.
Yeah.
Maybe you hone in on one person and just have a one-on-one. That's kind of what I do. I'm more of a one-on-one kind of person, but it can be overwhelming in a big group of people.
Sure.
But sometimes kid parts love that. I want to be the center of attention. I love being in a group of people because I get to blend in some more and, that kind of stuff. It really depends on what's going on with our protector parts as well there. But sometimes the socializing can be really tough on our kid parts. It can be harder on our responsible parts. Because if we're thinking about like Thanksgiving and Christmas and holidays, at least, we have these traditions that we must be upheld. My goodness. And so we have to bring the food and we have to bring the presents and so on and so forth. Well, who's usually doing all of this planning? Well, the woman, of course. Again, I'm stereotyping, but it's the one who's more in the responsible mode, who's ever responsible part's more used to doing this.
Yeah.
For me and my husband, I'm the one who's coming up with sending the graduation cards and wrapping the presents and even thinking about what present we need to buy the presents and and all my family gets at me, not my husband. Well, this is when we're doing family stuff. Okay, so it's up to me to plan all of this and he's just along for the ride. And so I kind of touched on that before, but it doesn't even matter if it's family stuff. Like we have neighbors we like to go hang out with. It's a good thing they talk to him more because I'd be the one spearheading everything. But they like him better, I think, which is okay. He's a chatty guy. He's very charming and he's more talkative than me. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. People tend to gravitate toward him. And I'm good with that. I'm very good with that. Takes pressure off of me.
Yeah.
And so that's a good way to balance it. His kid part comes out to play more than mine does because I'm a little hesitant. I'm a little shy, whatever. And so when people latch on to him, they get a hold of him for like, hey, let's get together to have a grill out or whatever. And I'm just along for the ride. This is great for me because I have to take care of everything else.
Yeah.
So we got to find this balance, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say with this is we find our balance through our strengths. Well, I'm good at this. You're good at that. How can we balance this out? So I'm not responsible all the time. What sort of responsibilities can you take on? How can you bring out your kid part? What can we do that's more fun together? The more we do this, the better it's going to build our relationships. The more authentic we're going to be able to be, the more trust we have, the more collaboration we have. So again, internal balance helps us have our parts of self aligned with our values, what we want to be doing. If my critical part's in the driver's seat all the time, I'm not balanced. So I got to say, hey, critical, take a step back, or responsible, take a step forward. That internal balance, again, helps to create or contribute to the external balance. So out of everything, we want our kid and responsible parts balanced. They tend to be very opposite. One more thing I got to throw about kid and responsible parts is if you've ever known anyone or had a manic episode yourself, a manic episode is basically where we're a lot more goal directed. We don't really need sleep. We don't really need to take breaks. We're just go, 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 go. And this could be very like productive or not productive, but it's still goal directed. So that's kid kind of hijacking responsible part and kid saying, we're doing this. Responsible, like, okay, I'm handcuffed to you. I have to go along for this. So essentially that's what a manic episode is. It's just so much, I don't know if frenzied is the right word, but it can be just so much energy going towards something. And that's
to the one goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's usually kid part driving that bus.
Okay.
Kid part's like, I want this. And responsible part's like, okay, I guess I have to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's not kid part actually doing it. It's responsible part.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Especially if it's like, I have decided that today I'm going to organize my entire closet.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm tired of looking at it that way. And I want it to be cool and easy to use and blah, blah, blah. But my responsible part's the one that has to take it all out and organize everything. And yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that in and of itself is not a manic episode, but that's a great example of what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Manic episodes last at least 7 days at a time. So if you're noticing you're doing this at least 7 days at a time, it's a manic episode. A hypomanic episode is at least 4 days at a time. There's more symptoms that go with this, but yeah.
That'd be a lot of closets.
Yeah, it would be a lot of closets.
I don't have that much stuff.
That's a good thing.
But I suppose one day could be the closet, one day could be the pantry, one day could be, and it would still take a week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
One more thing before I kind of wrap this up and start transitioning to the next part for the next time. One example I have to throw out here about responsible part is last time Chris and I took a trip to Mexico. We love Puerto Vallarta. So we were at a restaurant. The place we were staying at was on the beach, Los Muertos Beach. And so we were at a restaurant kind of on the other end of the beach. And so the walk back was like maybe 10 minutes on the beach. It's fantastic. I love this place. It's magical. But anyway, it was like getting dark and there's random people around. And I'm a woman. I'm always concerned about random dudes. Like, you're a guy. I don't know you. Yeah. And so Chris had a little too much to drink. He was having way too much fun. His kid part was playing hard, which is great. But he was not being responsible enough. His protector part was not out enough for me to be like, he can protect me if some dude tries to come up and fuck with us.
Yeah.
So I was scared. My scared little kid part was like, stranger danger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not even worried about like cartel members. I don't care. Whatever. It's a dude.
Yeah.
It's a dude at night. In a place I've never been. I've never met you. I don't know what to expect. It's a dude. Mm-hmm. So I don't have to go on. You know what I'm saying? And so we get back to our place and I'm like, Chris, what the fuck? And he's like, what? I'm like, we could have gotten mugged. It could have been bad. At least, and I wish your wits would have been about you more. I wish you had been more responsible. He's like, what? You didn't get it.
Yeah.
I think he gets it now, but he didn't then.
But at the time, with the alcohol and the kid driving, it probably just didn't make a lot of sense.
Exactly. He was just having fun. Like, why aren't you having fun? Like, stranger danger.
Yeah. Guys don't understand that as well. For the most part, guys don't understand that as well as females do.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're usually the one that's in more danger.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. Our biology, we're typically smaller than guys. We are not as muscular. Even if we are, Jillian Michaels, we're still going to get overpowered by a guy because that's just how it is. They're bigger and stronger than us.
Yeah. And
so if you're a guy listening to this, I think the best thing I can say is let your kid part come out. Smile. Show us that you're not a threat or a danger. Just have this hey, you're having fun. I'm having fun too. Cool. You know what I'm saying? Bring your kid part out too. That's going to help us all feel better. And you're going to feel better too.
Yeah.
If we all brought our kid, if we all brought our kid parts out more, we'd all feel better. But we, again, have to be balanced with our responsible parts. So there's more I can say, but I'm going to save that for next time because there's so many combinations of how these parts of self interact and what happens with them and so on and so forth. So I guess the only thing I would really ask anyone to do with this is pay attention. Are you being responsible enough? Are you being playful enough? Are you being authentic enough? Always questions to ask yourself. Am I too much of this? Am I being too critical? Am I being too protective? Am I being too responsible? Find that balance. It's hard for everybody, and everyone's balance is different. Some days it's easier than others, but as long as we're striving toward that balance, that's what really matters. Like on a bicycle, you don't have to be perfectly balanced to keep going. You can get it really wobbly and you're still going, but you're finding that balance at least somewhere.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So if you are sort of taking stock and you look and you go, oh my God, my, let's say critical part is really driving today. Is it sounds like the answer many times is to bring kid out, like for whichever part that might be that is taking the lead a little bit too much.
Yeah. In a lot of ways.
It seems like it's usually kid that you should call upon, do something fun.
Do something fun. Be more curious. That's the main point. Yeah. Curiosity is kind of the antidote to being critical.
Okay. Yeah. I can see that. I like that.
Yeah. We do want to bring out our nurturing parts a lot too when our critical is being too much, but that's a whole nother episode we're going to save for another
talk
day.
About that in critical.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, bring kid part out. I mean, as long as it's appropriate to bring your kid part out, like right in the middle of a board meeting, you're not going to just crack a joke. I mean, that's not going to fly.
I mean, I used to, but
sure. I mean, it depends on your situation. Yeah. Sometimes you can, sometimes it's just not appropriate. So bring your kid part out when it is appropriate. Sometimes it's just not going to be, but when you can, do.
Yeah.
I think we could all do better if we were more like Paul Rudd.
Yes, of course. Anyway. The world would be a happy place. And if all dudes were Paul Rudd, we wouldn't be scared of them while walking on the beach.
That's right. Yeah. He'd probably run up to you and be like, hey! Oh, actually, I got to tell you the story. So that same vacation, there was a guy who we would see kind of walking around and be on the beach like every day we were there. And we called him Pink Shorts because he wore these Speedos that were like hot pink, like not like magenta, but they were like hot pink. So he would like strut around in these Speedos, and he was a gorgeous guy. My goodness. And even my husband's like, yeah, he's a gorgeous guy. And so one day, it was like the last day we were there, I'm like, I had to say hi. I had to ask him his deal. And so this is my kid part. And she's like, we've seen you around. Do you live here? And he's like, no, I'm just on vacation. I'm on holiday. He was English, apparently.
I was going to say that sounds British.
So, oh God, his voice was just as sexy as he was. But anyway, so it's like I was like fangirling, like it's just a hot guy. And I'm like, you should be a model. And Chris was just sitting back, just watching, like, yeah, I'm happy you wouldn't talk to him because I would have been too embarrassed to. But it was, yeah. So anyway, the responsible part in me was like, leave him alone. He's just doing his thing. He's probably a podcaster or something. He'd like preen with his camera, like his phone out, and he'd like preen in front of it, and he'd like do his like toe, shake the sand off, and just preen. You know what I'm saying?
He's probably an influencer. He's probably on Instagram.
I never looked, but man. Anyway, so my responsible part was like, just let him be. He's just doing his thing. My kid part overrode at the last. I was like, it's my last chance. I have
to. I do that a lot when I see people that I think are cooler or somebody famous, God forbid, that I'm like, right? And I really want to talk to them, but I'm too scared. I'm always too scared. Always. Exactly. When we were in Mexico, we were sitting next to this gorgeous young woman who picked up her blanket and was shaking the sand off and sat back down. And she looked over her shoulder toward us. And I'm like, oh my God, it was the actress from Lost.
Oh, wow.
Now I cannot remember her name, the one with the long blonde hair. I'll do a voiceover and put her name in here because I can't remember right now. Okay, a little update. I did a little Google search after Brittney and I finished this episode. And the actress I was thinking of from Lost, her name is Emily DeRaven. Or Emily D. Raven. That's it.
Perfect. Love it.
But Greg had a crush on her. And I was like, it's and he was like, oh my God, it really is. It really is her. And she was there with like one of her girlfriends or something. And they were just, nobody was bugging her.
Love it.
And there was no way in hell I was going to go up and talk to her. But I just was like, oh, I'm sharing a beach with her.
Right?
That's about all I could do is just admire her from afar.
And that's okay. I'm sure she appreciated that.
Yeah, I don't think she even noticed me. But she probably would not have appreciated me going, hey, you're the girl from Lost. So
yeah, right.
So I didn't. And I didn't see anyone else do it either. So
yeah,
that was good.
That means she got to let her kid part out and just let her hair down.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah. We all deserve that.
Yes, absolutely. Again, let your kid parts out, come out to play more. Everyone would do better that way.
All right. So what do you think we want to, which part do you want to tackle next time?
I think we got to do critical part next time because it goes so well with all of this. We'll bring logical into this, but logical is kind of up there with responsible. So we'll do critical next.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm excited for that. I have some critical humans in my life that I would like to get some more insight on. So
absolutely.
I'm looking forward to that.
Great. Well, strap in for next time.
Strap in. All right. Join us next time, everybody.
That's right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This Way In is co-produced by Brittney Baxter Dameron and me, Amy Lotsberg, at Collected Sounds Media. I also edit and manage the show, which is part of the Collected Sounds Independent Podcast Network.